You could not ask for more in the month of March from what we have already seen during mid-major conference tournament week in men's college basketball. Look at the ASun yesterday. The top seed Eastern Kentucky on its home floor at EKU. They had not lost a home game in regular season conference action. They host Jacksonville, who survived a couple of nights ago, who had not won a road game in regular season conference action. The Finns go into Eastern Kentucky and knock off the top overall seed in the ASun. Lipscomb, the third overall seed, gets beat last night as well. Two of the top three seeds in the ASun tournament already bounced. We're back into semifinal action on a Thursday in the ASun. Almost madness in the Horizon League, which sets the stage for three more mid-major conferences to enter the fun and the chaos that is conference tournament week right now. On this Wednesday, the Ohio Valley Conference will begin its conference tournament. The Big South and the Northeast will join as well. And DRS, when you look at the top of the Ohio Valley this year, there was a three-way tie for the top spot. Three teams at 14-4. Morehead State, Little Rock, and UT Martin. It's why you see their three prices, plus 115 for Morehead State, plus 190 for Little Rock, and plus 450 for UT Martin. But the number one overall seed, technically, in the OVC tournament, that would be Little Rock, followed by UT Martin. They get buys all the way to the semifinals. Morehead State, a bye into tomorrow's quarterfinal actions, despite being booked as the favorite.
And by the way, when you're taking a look at these smaller conference tournaments, understand the layout here. As Ben pointed out with the ASun yesterday, you know what was very important there? Teams have the higher seeds home court advantage, which is very important. But also keep in mind, sometimes you get that bounce, right? Like, hey, we already played on your home court and we won yesterday. We're looking forward to playing you today. And it came out in spades in the ASun yesterday. But if you take a look at the Ohio Valley, there's 11 teams in conference play. But if you notice the bracket here, only the top 8 actually made it through here to the conference tournament. And also, this conference tournament, even though it is a smaller conference, is all going to be played in one arena. And that's going to be at the Ford Center in Evansville. So also, as we take a look at the smaller conference like the ASun, like, okay, you got one bye. Here's the good thing if you're Little Rock here. You got the number one seed. You get a double bye along with UT Martin. Yeah. So you don't even have to play, which means, Ben, you only got to win 2 games in this tournament to cut down the nets. I love to see this because some of the arguments that we have so many times in these smaller conferences, how could this be fair? They played 16 regular season games. This team went 15-1, then got knocked out because they didn't play a good quality basketball game 2 games into the tournament, and they're going home. At least this conference is basically telling you, hey, look, the regular season really means something. You get 2 free games before you have to play anybody here because that's the fruit that you get from having a great conference year here. I'm looking forward to the way this tournament shapes up. But again, understand the tournament. It's neutral strike, double buys for the top 2 teams here, and away you go.
So when you look at those top 2 teams, by the way, very different styles in terms of UT Martin, one of the fastest 15 tempos in college basketball. Little Rock a little bit more in the middle. When you look at Morehead State, the favorites right now, a slower tempo 334. That's bottom 30 in the country. You could take that into the overs and the unders for Ohio Valley Conference tournament play. Again, Morehead State, a much more difficult path by having to play 1 extra game, despite all 3 of those teams at the top finishing 14-4 in OVC play so far this year. Tennessee State, a 3.5-point favorite against Southern Indiana to get things started on this Wednesday. The other game, Eastern Illinois, that's a 2.5-point spread against SIU Edwardsville, a 2.5-point number in favor of SIU. Now we go to the Big South Conference, where High Point is the number 1 seed in the pretty sure favorite, plus 105, approaching even money. Drew Pember is back for UNC Asheville. He is a stud, plus 290 there for UNC Asheville. Winthrop at 7-1 and Gardner-Webb 8-1. DRS, those are the 4 teams with 3 digits in their prices to try to win the Big South tournament and get a bid to the NCAA tournament as well.
And also, let's take a look at this tournament here. Keep in mind, the number 1 overall seed is High Point. You know where the entire tournament is going to be played this year for the Big South? High Point University. Home court advantage is key here. Also, we just told you about a conference that says, we're going to leave out the bottom 3 teams here, as some of these conferences do. There's 9 teams in the Big South. All 9 teams will be participating in this tournament here as it gets wrapped up. But if, again, you're looking at those buys here, only looks like the 8 and the 9 are going to play each other, and then everybody else sort of filters in. So really, everybody's getting that sort of first-round bye because you don't have to avoid it, but you're also looking at High Point playing the lowest seed possible to get it started on their home court. You take a look at some of those odds here. That's why they're a plus 105 here in this tournament at the FanDuel Sportsbook, and you take a look at UNC Asheville at a plus 290 price. It's nice to have it on your home court, but again, as we said, you fill up with fans, you're used to the shooting angles, but UC Upstate and Radford are going to play a game on your home court there. They should win that. They'll be comfortable with the sight lines and the routine already. But if High Point can get past that first game, it should be, I don't want to say smooth sailing. That's not fair. They're not that big of a favorite. But on your home court, you got a game under your belt and already won. They probably should take the tournament.
So Radford is the 9 seed. Again, that is the bottom seed out of the 9 that have made the conference tournament. They were 5-11 in conference play, as was South Carolina Upstate. And yet tonight, Radford, the Highlanders, in the only game that will start action in the Big South Conference tournament, a 4.5-point favorite against SC Upstate. The winner of that will take on the top seed in High Point. Again, maybe keep an eye on UNC Asheville as you look at the bracket. They are the 2. They would be on the other side. They take on Charleston Southern. Those games in quarterfinal action are on Friday in the Big South. High Point, by the way, will be in action noon Eastern time in the Big South quarterfinal matchup come Friday. The other conference tournament that starts things today, the NEC, that is the Northeast. And take a look at these odds. Merrimack and Central Connecticut, 2 teams that are separated by just 25 cents, plus 110 for Merrimack, plus 135 for Central Connecticut. Then we have a very large drop-off DRS to Sacred Heart at 10-1.
It's a 9-team conference, and also looks like getting the short end of the stick here is Stonehill, Ben. Not deserving. 4-27 on the season, 2-14 in conference play. They won't be participating here in the tournament. Also, again, setting the stage here for how the NEC is played. You take a look at this. All games are held on the campus sites of the higher seeds here. So if you're the number 1 overall seed, as you take a look at Central Connecticut, if things go your way, every game will be at home. That's certainly a distinct advantage. Now, when you're trying to handicap conferences and what you like, look, we understand the high majors and the Power 5 conferences here have the elite athletes, which means you can get some great tempo and a lot of fun and efficient offenses. If you want efficient offenses, the NEC is not the conference to go to, Ben. Take a look at this. Merrimack, this is the adjusted offenses based on KenPom, which basically 360 or so teams that we have. 313, 272, 247, 284, 310, 341, 349, 346, and Stonehill was left out at 355. Close your eyes and bet unders? Is that what we're finding here in this tournament?
So, DRS, KenPom also ranks conferences that we have around the country in college basketball, all 33, including the independents. The Northeast Conference has the worst overall rating at negative 13.67. It is not a great offensive conference by any means, so you would look at defense. Who is the best defense in the conference? That is Merrimack, and by a pretty considerable margin. 78th overall in the country. The only defense that ranks in the top 195, Central Connecticut, second best at 199. No buys for any of these teams today. So Central Connecticut, a 13.5-point favorite against St. Francis. They are the number 1 seed. Merrimack, a 14.5-point favorite against LIU. By the way, Central Connecticut this year, 17-10 against the spread, the best cover team in the NEC. Was that all you needed from the conference tournament rundown that we have this week and these games starting on this Wednesday? I hope so. We might see some chaos, though. We've already seen some chaos. Look no further than the ASun. 2 of the top 3 seeds already bounced. Everybody, this means everything. A shot to go dancing if you win your conference tournament. We'll talk more college hoops up next.